Helloing, my ladies and longs. So, wow, finally, the second channel is starting to actually get some new videos uploaded to it now recently. I've always wanted to do something on this channel, and I decided, fuck it, let's try, like, story time stuff. I'm still probably going to be posting VODs that are, like, Twitch-exclusive stuff on here, so you guys have something long-form to watch. You guys don't make the streams and stuff. But what I decided to do, firstly, I did the story time where I talked about how an Xbox controller nearly made my PC shit itself. If you haven't seen that video yet, go right ahead and watch it. But now I want to try and move on to a different kind of content, because you know what's funny? I have a fuck ton of footage. I have a lot of shit that I would like to talk in like a much more laid back style. What do you call it? Almost like, I guess, in a podcast way. I had the podcast channel, but I didn't do shit with that. But basically, like, what I want to do with this is just a few random thoughts that have been popping into my head, and I just kind of want to talk about it, and not a lot of editing. I want you guys to imagine, like, this is like a Discord call, this is like just a little podcasty-ish kind of thing, but regardless. So the first video in this kind of topic that I want to start with this new, I don't know what you would refer this to. But recently I've been playing a lot, and I mean a lot of Ubisoft games, right? So we all know Ubisoft has just currently released the new Assassin's Creed Black Flag remake, resynced, and as far as what I'm aware, people are saying that the game is pretty damn good. But if you look on Steam, Ubisoft did do a Ubisoft, and they're just kind of like, making shitty decisions, putting out extra DLC, like that adds up to like $80 worth of stuff in an already. I don't know what the conversion is, but I know that's almost damn near full-priced game here where I live. And the thing is with Ubisoft, the reason why this video is going to be titled, like, why Ubisoft is a frustrating company, is because, like, Ubisoft themselves, they are a shitty company, as I'm pretty sure 99% of us are aware of, right? But the thing with Ubisoft is that it's a company that has got so many banger games that have come out both in, like, the company's inception or even some of their newer games. Now, they're nothing 10 out of 10 worthy. Closest that they've gotten was that Prince of Persia game that they released in 2024, because that game was really, really damn good. But they released such good games like Immortals, Phoenix Rising. I thought that Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, while it is just Far Cry, but Avatar, I still thought it was thoroughly enjoyable, but not as much as the original on the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, which, if you didn't know, was also a game that was published by Ubisoft. If they made it, I'm not 100% too sure. But the thing is as well, like, those are like a few examples, but like Ubisoft has got so many like other, like, I wouldn't say good games, but they surely have a bunch of like enjoyable 7 out of 10 experience kinds of games that are just like a fun thing to like go through, right? Like, for instance, like what I'm playing right now as I'm recording this is how I figure I'm going to be recording most of the stuff, is like I'm going to be playing the game, I'm going to be playing something as I make these videos. So currently I'm playing Ghost Recon Wildlands, and I've really been enjoying the game, right? As a game itself, it's fine. Like, I don't particularly think this is anything Game of the Year worthy. I don't think this is anything too, I would like to say, revolutionary for both its franchise and for Ubisoft game design. They just kind of like follow into the same exact structure that these games have been falling into ever since Far Cry 3 came out in 2012. But it's like, when you look at this game, it is a perfect 7 out of 10 game. And the thing is with this game is that I'm a humongous fan of Metal Gear, as we all should know. One of my favorite games of all time is Metal Gear Solid 4. It's one of my top favorite franchises of all time. It's in the top 10, I should say, because like it's just a series I grew up with. I've just enjoyed all of the games that I've played. I haven't played Survive, but we don't need to talk about that one. But it's a series that I really love, if nobody even knew. Like, I absolutely adored even what Konami did with Delta last year. And I'm thinking of going back to Platinum the game if the stupid thing wasn't like over 100 gigs big now. So thank you so much, both Konami and Unreal Engine 5. You guys never fail to impress me on that front. But it's like, I'm a humongous fan of Metal Gear Solid 5. Like, I think that is one of the greatest games that we've ever gotten in, like, the past 11 years. Like, and it's also one of my personal favorites. I hear a lot of people are having a little bit of mixed opinions of it. I mean, I guess that's fine. I think that is, like, one of the most innovative that we've seen in terms of, like, open-world stealth games. And, like, I think it's not really a hot take to say that the game was outstanding, right? I think a lot of people would agree that Metal Gear Solid 5 is probably one of the highest quality products that we've ever gotten from that entire series, and it's just unfortunately held back by the idea that it's unfortunately a game that just isn't finished. And because I bring up Metal Gear, that's why I bring up Ghost Recon Wildlands. Ghost Recon Wildlands feels like a continuation of like stealth open world action games that we're sorely missing. The only thing I can think of is there's this one guy, I forget his name, maybe while I'm editing this, like I'll quickly flash on, I think it's Under a Starlit Night or something like that. That developer makes a lot of like Metal Gear inspired things, like he made games like No Sun to Worship, I think would be his most popular one, and then he made something like called The Chameleon or something. He's probably the closest guy that I know that does stealth games with a larger open environment. But when we talk about something in the AAA scene, like Ghost Recon Wildlands is probably like the closest continuation that we've gotten to something like that from Metal Gear Solid 5. But it's just a shame that it's a little bit barred under like repetitive Ubisoft, big ass open world, which is very fun to explore. And, you know, it's filled to the brim with all sorts of different shit that you can do. All sorts of side quests, all sort of stuff to get XP, all that good stuff. And there's a lot of content in this game for, like, the base edition. And that's why I enjoy it. I think that the game itself is perfectly inoffensive. I guess it's like a 7 out of 10. High 6, mid 7s, I would say. Like, around that. I'm leaning towards, like, the 7.4 out of 10 range, right? Because there is like, it is a very repetitive game. It does feel a little bit like, like the normal Ubisoft open world shit that we come to expect. Except I enjoyed for the idea that it is a lot more focused on like tactical stuff, like what Ghost Recon is known for, but doing it in a separate, like doing it in a much more different way, where it's almost like it goes on with Metal Gear Solid 5, but it mixes it a lot more with games like, I almost said Uncharted, Just Cause or Just Cause and GTA. And for those like additions to the gameplay, I almost argue that in some instances I think that Ghost Recon Wildlands, in terms of being an open world game, I think it does it a hell of a lot better than MGS5. That might be a very hot take, I'm very well aware, but don't let you think that that makes me think that this game shines above and beyond with Metal Gear Solid 5, right? Metal Gear Solid 5 is untouchable when it comes down to comparing this, which is what makes me annoyed, because like it's really a game that's also like ultimately been mostly forgotten by Ubisoft, both by the company and its fan base. As well, like, not just this game, though, I feel like the entirety of Ghost Recon has gone to shit completely as well, because we got Breakpoint in 2019. I believe it was 2019. I think it was 2019, whatever. Feel free to correct me in the comments. But that was a live service slop piece of shit, and I will admit, though, that game is absolutely terrible, and I just did not enjoy my time with it. For mostly because of the idea that it had like improvements to the main game, but then they bogged it down to have like the live service elements that everybody absolutely despises. And again, I think that's a big reason why I think Ubisoft also rather frustrates me. But before we go on to that, like another game that I've been playing was, excuse me for the hiccups and shit, I don't know what the hell's going on. But for like the hiccups, yeah, that's so much more important to talk about. When it comes down to, I would like to say, like, why Ubisoft also sorry. What I've also been busy doing recently is I've been playing a lot of Far Cry 6. And it's the same exact thing when it comes down to how I feel about Ghost Recon Wildlands, in a sense, right? It's like, it is Ubisoft. It is an open world with too much shit in it to give you the illusion of you actually getting a lot of content, when in reality it's just the same repetitive stuff over and over and over again. But like, it's still a game that has a loop that I quite enjoy. Although, like, you want to know what I find is funny? and I've been very open about my thoughts on Far Cry 6. I think where it improves on like mission structure, I think it ruins it in terms of gameplay when you compare it to Far Cry 5. I think personally, like, Far Cry 5 is the best playing Far Cry game in the entire series. Like, if we're counting all the new ones since 3, like 1 and 2 are completely different in that regard, but I think Far Cry 5 just actually plays a lot better. I think that's where the gameplay was the most refined. I would be lying to you if I said I can remember if that carried over into something like... I would be lying if I told you, like, it went over into something like New Dawn or something like that. But regardless, that's how I feel. I think, like, the gameplay was perfected, and I think they just kind of ruined it with 6, whereas they improved on the missions. Like, I'm not a big fan of this crap of, like, oh, you need to finish all of the side quests in order to unlock this main quest. It's just, like, I don't enjoy, like, wasting time on things when I'm trying... I feel like side missions should be that. They should be side missions that you can choose to do when you have free time or when you finish the main campaign and you want some extra stuff to do. And I don't feel like you get that when playing it. That's another reason why Saints Row sometimes pisses me off too, honestly, but, like, I still love Saints Row ultimately. It's just a shame that's also a series that's completely gone to shit. But I feel like, what do you call it? Regardless of all that, both games, I can even include Far Cry 5 in this as well, is that I think that those games are both really well made, they're really fun to play, and they give you a lot of bang for your buck, despite the repetitive nature. I understand, like, a lot of people would say that these are kind of like guilty pleasure games. Like, I made a poll like this, and I might make a separate video on this channel where I just discuss the idea of a guilty pleasure game. Like, they're just games that you enjoy playing, even though you know you shouldn't be. And I feel like a lot of people could relate to something like that, especially when it comes to Ubisoft games. But again, I think the reason why it's also rather frustrating as a company is that they have so many great, like, IPs and games and stuff like that. But then them as a company, they're just pieces of shit, you know? Like, they'll go out of their way, and then they'll be like, oh, okay, so, you know, let's rip a game that was rather beloved. Oh, that's another game that I actually really like, is the Crew, Riders Republic. Let me just add those 2 games there as well, because I feel like those are good enough mentions, because those games are great, in my opinion, if you ask me. Like, I've never played the first Crew, but I enjoyed the Crew 2, and I somewhat enjoyed the Crew Motorfest, but I really enjoyed Riders Republic. It was a very fun game. I don't know if by extension that would count Steep too, but regardless. But why I also keep saying, like, okay, like, Ubisoft is frustrating because they really love the idea of just, like, being a shitty company where they'll rip games from their library, from your library. They'll say you'll own nothing and be happy about it, and then just keep constantly making ass backwards decisions that, you know, when it comes down to, like, what I feel about a company that kind of deserves all the shit that they've been getting, Ubisoft is definitely the poster child for it. And I feel like they're really on damage control when it comes down to, like, the decisions that they've been making to revive stuff like Rayman, to revive stuff like... say revive, but, like, they're remaking games that are beloved. It's like the biggest, like, oh, we're so sorry, we're gonna try our best to try and... They're kind of, like, doing it the worst possible way, though, than, like, with Konami. Like, I feel like Konami's made actual efforts to bring back series, I don't know if that's the right word, but they've made actual legitimate attempts to bring back series and to try and revitalize them. I would say they've done a better job with Silent Hill 2 in that regard than Delta, because Delta is just a straight up, like, gameplay and graphical remaster. It's not really much of a remake because a lot of the original game's DNA is still in there. But also outside of that, Konami's actually been trying to give us, like, actual really quality games, like Silent Hill F, for instance. So many people love Silent Hill F. And then we even got Darwin's Paradox, which I thought was such a fun little puzzle platformer game. It's not even funny to think, like, how we live in an era, like, I've had this funny phrase going around every once in a while where I'm like, something doesn't feel right because Konami hasn't messed up in a while. Whereas I feel like Ubisoft's trying to lean into that, but they still keep doing, like, these shittier little, how am I going to explain it? Like, these shitty little things, like, oh yeah, like, remove, like, the bad PR stuff, shutting down X-Defiant, you know, taking the Crew 1 out of, like, people's Steam libraries when they paid for it with no compensation or anything like that. You will own nothing and be happy about it, all that kind of stuff. And again, like, Ubisoft is in that point where, you know, they are in the position that they are because it's their own fault, and they decided, like, they want to fuck over gamers. Oh, look what's happening now, right? And I feel like that, I don't know. I can't exactly particularly say, like, what I think they should have done better. Like, I don't know about the DLC and stuff. I haven't played Black Flag Resynced yet. As of me recording this, I'm currently downloading it. Like, I could quickly look. How far is it from here? 63% downloaded, because Xbox and internet in South Africa don't seem to mix, because whatever reason, you just don't get your full download speed no matter what you try. But again, like, I feel like had they just, like, given us, like, the most definitive way of playing the game without, like, DLC that totals up to almost the exact same price, you might have ended up essentially paying the same price for the game for the amount of DLC, because I think someone said there's like $86 worth of DLC. I feel like that was a bit of an L, you know, like, why would you still need to add all that additional shit, right? When you're busy remaking a game that's so beloved to many people that now people don't look back at the remake fondly, like something like the Resident Evil remakes or the Konami remakes. Like, they look at it in a way that's like, oh, this is a cash grab. What's the point, right? That's why I'm just kind of like, Konami is just a very frustrating company, because I really feel like it's a company that has such a legacy and has such a place in gaming history that it really makes me sad that, in a way, that they've decided to go down this path of, like, being so unconsumer friendly, so, like, against gamers, and, like, now at this point they're literally just desperate to try and keep themselves from, I don't know, possibly needing to get merged into a different company, or needing to get, like, merged into a different company, or getting, like, bought out, essentially. Because I think I heard, like, around the X-Defiant cancellation time, there was, like, rumors of them getting bought out. How possible that is, I don't know. Would it be something that they would have deserved? Yes. And I mean, there's a big reason why, you know, like, ex-Ubisoft employees made one of the greatest games of all time last year. And I wonder what Ubisoft's reaction was to something like Expedition 33, when the games that they made just legitimately had no level of impact, nor interest for that matter in the first place. But yeah, that's a little bit of a ramble. Let me know what you guys think. I've been thinking about doing something like this for ages, because again, I want to do something on the second channel while I work on main video stuff and shorts on the main channel. And I wanted to keep this channel as, like, a lazy thing, so I'm still just going to be uploading, like, I am still going to be uploading, like, just random shit, but I want to actually start introducing, like, a consistent level of content to this channel. And I feel like these more unscripted rambles about certain things are... it's a pretty good start. So let me know what you guys think about this. And I've been John from the channel with the freakishly long name, or in this case, the second channel with the freakishly long name. And I'll be talking to you guys in hopefully newer videos. So if you also have some suggestions, drop them down below. But in any case, goodbye.